All right. Hello, everybody. Let's go ahead and begin this webinar. I want to welcome everyone. I appreciate you stopping by to take a little time to learn about tonight's topic, which is how to drive free traffic to your website. We're going to be going through a lot of information. I'm going to cover quite a bit. We will have recording and resources available when we're done, so you don't need to take notes. Just get a tasty beverage, maybe a nice snack, sit down and enjoy. Let's go ahead and begin. My name is Shane. I am the Web Product Development Manager for Inflatable Office, and I also happen to do some of the SEO for our SEO clients as well. We're going to be going through quite a bit tonight, and it's all around SEO and tools that you already have available to you. So this isn't going to be new information, maybe for a lot of you, but it will be critical information. So if you haven't done this already, you'll need to. Let's go ahead and get started. So tonight, we're going to be talking about increasing your web traffic through organic search results, boosting that as much as you can. We're going to be doing that through on-page optimization, good keyword usage, link building, both internal and inbound links, working with Google My Business, and content creation. And then at the end of it, we're going to go through some tools on how to monitor and analyze if all the work you've done is successful or not. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, I'm going to be doing this referencing I/O quite a bit because I would guess most of you are already I/O customers and you're going to want to know how to apply this to your business within the framework of your Inflatable Office website. I'm also going to be referencing a book. You know, it's funny, when I started preparing for this webinar, I got all my information together and I put together this nice PowerPoint presentation. It was long, it was in depth, it was probably a little too much. And I came to the realization at some point that you all are business owners. You don't need to sit through an hour of me just jabbering on with this long PowerPoint. What you need is actionable intel that you can implement immediately, tonight, tomorrow, right after this webinar. And so I scrapped that, threw it aside, and I really didn't even need to reference anything because an ebook has already been written that has a wealth of information. It's going to have quite a bit of information that I referenced tonight. I'll reference the ebook quite a bit. It's free. You can get it on the Inflatable Office website. In fact, let me go ahead and switch over here. It's basically the everything you need to know about rental websites and SEO. I'll be referencing this quite a bit. If you haven't read this book yet, you need to. In fact, I'll wait. We'll stop. We'll just we'll take a moment and everybody just read it real quick. Not really, but if you haven't seen it, it's free. It's right there on the home page. You can just get it right here where it says free ebook, and actually it's this free ebook. And there's really no reason you shouldn't have this, especially after tonight. And I reference it so much. So keep this in mind. This is your first free tool, and it has a wealth of information. It was written much better than I could have written it, and so we'll be referencing that quite a bit. All right, here we go. So your Inflatable Office website. The first thing we need to do is we're going to start with just the basics, and maybe a lot of this stuff in the beginning you will have already done, hopefully so. But if not, I'll show you how to do it. We're going to go from basic to intermediate. We'll end up at advanced. And just know that there's, of course, always help available as well. Now, when you're in your Inflatable Office website, I put together a little test account, my little awesome rental business. And here it is right here. And I'll be using that as an example as I go through this. So the first thing we want to do, we're going to make sure that all of your categories are filled out properly. These are, like I said, these are just basics, but they are critical. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to make sure that you are in your I/O. You've already signed in. You're going to go over here to categories. And you're going to want to make sure that you have all this information already filled out. You need a short description. It needs to be keyword rich. It needs to be in-depth describing what the category is. You want to make sure that you also have a picture. Think about times when you've gone to a website and there's pictures missing, or the layout just doesn't work, or the content seems off. This is where we start to fix that, if that is the case for your website. Now, something to mention here. If you don't like writing content and you happen to be one of our SEO clients, they have a little button right in here to where they can just click it and it will write a short description about this category for them. Also a long description. The short description is going to be more at the top. The long description, a little more in depth, that'll be towards the bottom of the page. If you're not an SEO client, you'll need to write this yourself, but I'm sure you won't have any problem doing that. And most of you probably have already done that. You'll want to make sure that you've done this for all of your categories. And that's just, like I said, that's the very beginning. Now, one of the things that's going to be absolutely critical, in fact, I hope all of you already have this. If not, I'm not going to judge you for it, but make sure you get one of these now. And that's having a Google My Business account. Google My Business is absolutely essential. In fact, let's take a moment to look at that. So Google My Business, you sign up for it for free. We'll give a resource here towards the end of the webinar for where you can go to sign up for that if you haven't already. But when you have a Google My Business account, there's a few areas you need to make sure that you fill out properly. One, you need to make sure that your company name matches everywhere. If you have Awesome Rentals LLC, and that's on your website, that needs to be on your Google My Business account, exactly as it comes out. So in every area where you use your business name, it needs to be the exact same, congruent across all platforms. Now, Google My Business, it's important that you fill out, like I said, your name. You're going to also need to ensure that you fill out your hours of operation. If somebody's searching for bounce house rental at 6 o'clock in the evening and you don't have hours of operation set to be open at that time, it's very likely you're not going to come up in the search results when somebody searches for you right then because you're not open. But the people that do have hours of operation at that time showing that they're open are more likely to beat you in the search results for that particular search. You're going to want to also make sure that you have your business address. This doesn't necessarily have to be your home. Hopefully it's a place of business, but it is important that you do have some sort of address there. It's also going to be very important that you have your primary category of business set, as well as your secondary categories. Hopefully you'll have your primary business, maybe it's event rentals, party rentals, bounce house rentals, and then think of a few other secondary categories that you can use as well. It's very important. Now, on your service areas, that's going to also be very important because your service areas are going to show other areas around your main area of business that you'll deliver to. So some of the smaller towns in and around your area, it's important to list all of those. You get up to 20, you might as well use 20. This is very, very important. I see this quite a bit, that GMB accounts just don't have this listed at all, and I don't know why you wouldn't. So make sure Google My Business is filled out in its entirety, that you fill out every detail you can, and make sure, like I said before, that it's congruent. Now, after you have that set up, it's important to make sure that we get your review gathering set up. So this is already baked into the IO software. The way you're going to do this is, let me go back to my GMB here and show you all what I'm talking about. So over here on the right-hand side, you're going to see somewhere on your Google My Business page, there's going to be a link that says, I can't see what it says, I believe it's gather reviews or something like that. Get more reviews. I've got it circled there, but I can't see it. It's so small. But you're going to get that link. When you click on that button, it just gives you a URL. You copy it, keep it, and then you're going to come over here to IO, and you're going to go into your general preferences. You'll come all the way down here to about the middle of the page where it says reviews. You'll give it a name. Google works. You can call it anything you like. You'll paste in that URL right here. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing. Hold on. Whoa. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so general preferences. Name, copy in your URL for the link right here. And then you're going to want to give it a weight or a strength. Go ahead and give it a 10. Google's very important. And then you're going to also go ahead and designate how many ratings you want to come through. So if you want 4 stars or higher, go ahead and put 4 here. If you only want 5-star reviews, put a 5 here. It's important that after you do this, you do click Add. And then when you're done with that, you want to come down here and make sure you save it. Or else you're going to have to come back here and do that again sometime. But that's how you're going to set this up. Now, after you have that set up, it's going to be important that you have a way to solicit those reviews, to ask for them. So when your customers come and they rent from you, you've done an excellent job, and they want to pat you on the back, give you a good review, you want an email to go out and say, hey, can you give us a review? And that is, of course, automatic. You will need to set it up, and you're going to do that by coming over here to Settings. You're going to come all the way down here to your email center, and you're going to look for Customer Thank You. And there it is right there. Customer Thank You. Now, if you're looking at this when you do it and you see a different email template right here, no problem. All you need to do is come over here and click Load in Default Template, and it'll load in this template that you're seeing right now. It is important, though, after you customize this to say whatever you want, if you don't use this template just like it is, that you activate it. I don't believe this is checked by default, so come up here and activate it, and then also come all the way down here to the lower right-hand corner and save it. Very important. All right. Moving on, let me get a drink of water. Okay, now let's get into your website. What's going on with your website? Let's get over there. What's going on with my website? So this is where we're going to talk about checking out how your on-page keyword focus, how well it's done. Hopefully you will have chosen a few good keywords, some main keywords, and then some secondary keywords. Those main keywords, like I'll give you an example, party rental, event rental, bounce house rental, water slide rental. I would consider those my main keywords. Some secondary keywords, maybe dunk tank rental, maybe foam parties, something like that. Let's go ahead and just check for a few of these main keywords though. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm here on my home page. I'm going to hit Control plus F as in Frank. It's going to bring up the find function. In there, I'm going to go ahead and type out my keyword, and then it's going to tell me right there, bounce house rental. Oh, I've already got 2. I've got 2 bounce house rentals already on the page. You can go up and down right here to see exactly where they are. And that's a good number. So generally for your main keywords, you want to go ahead and make sure there's 1 to 2. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want 40 keywords just littering your home page, but you do want your main keywords to be listed at least 1 to 2 times. And I would say go through this with each and every keyword you have to see what you have on your page, or else you're just not going to know. It's important to scatter these throughout the page, also to have them in headers as much as possible. And you don't need to just stick it everywhere. I mean, it needs to make sense, and it needs to kind of flow with what you're communicating at that place on the page. But go through at least 5 of these and make sure that you have each of those main keywords listed 1 to 2 times, 3 or 4 at the very most. Like I said, you don't need to overdo it. You don't need to be obnoxious about it, but they do need to definitely be on your home page and other pages as well. We're just going to cover the home page right now, but they are important to have them throughout your website. Now, after we do that, after we go through and we see how keyword rich our home page is, we'll have a good idea of what we need to change, if anything. Hopefully it's already done. You've got enough keywords right there on your home page. If that's the case, then we're going to go ahead and move on. Now, if you do this and you see, oh, I don't have any keywords, or I don't have enough, hopefully you know how to edit that. If not, I'll show you right now. Now, what you see here is my home page, and you also see this black bar across the top. If you go to your home page and you don't see that, here's how you do that. So make sure when you are logged into I/O, you come down here to websites, you go to admin login for whichever site it is, click on that, and then also come over here, and I usually open it in a different tab, your home page. Once you do that, if you still don't see that, just Control and F5 or just refresh the page and hopefully you'll see it. So to add more keywords, all I need to do is click Edit with Elementor. And you can come down here, you can click inside the box you want to change. You can also go over here to the little pen icon and click on that. Let's say I'm going to change this over here. I click on the pen icon. Where you would edit this is over here on the left-hand side. You'll come in here, you'll type in your great keywords. It's going to flow nicely. It's going to read well. When you're done, make sure you come on down here to where it says Update and click that. So that's the Save button. Or you're going to have to do it again. So just make sure you update it, you save it, and then you're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and reopen that. Okay, now the next thing that's going to be very important is ensuring that your meta title, that your website title is effective. And let's talk about that a little bit. So the way you're going to find out, well, what is your website title? I don't even know. The way you're going to find out is by going into the WordPress side of your website. This is what it looks like. You're going to come right down here to Settings and General. And right here you see your site title and your tagline. These two are combined to make your website title. So basically in this first area, you want your company name. On the other side of this, you want to go ahead and add your location. What city do you work out of? And then down here for your tagline, it's probably best to put about 2 keyword phrases. Right here I've placed party rental and bounce house rental. Those are good ones. It doesn't need to be too long. Make it concise, but make sure it's keyword rich as much as possible. You don't need to just list a whole bunch of keywords, but at least have a couple of good keyword phrases here. And keep in mind, this is what people on Google, that's what they see. So this is very important, not only for readability and for people to be able to determine quickly what is this site about, but also the Google web crawlers. This is what they go off of, is your site title. It's very important. So make sure that you've done this. This is how you would do it. I will mention there are a couple of different SEO plugins that I see used in Inflatable Office. One is Rank Math. Very good plugin. Another one is Yoast. Now, you can go into either one of these plugins and also change your title through those plugins. I just showed how to do it right here through settings, but know that you can do it in both places. Now, one thing it's very important to understand is I've done this on purpose. I've downloaded Yoast. I've also got Rank Math. I want all the SEO. But don't do that. I've just done this to show you not to do it. They both work really well. They don't play well together. Just get one or the other, but don't get both. So I'm going to delete one of these plugins right after this webinar, but just know, pick one plugin and that'll be enough. It'll do well for you. If you have both of them, they kind of work against each other. So I won't go on any more about that other than to say just only have one. Okay, we're moving on. I've got a lot more to cover. We will take some time to answer questions here towards the end, but I got a lot of information, so I want to make sure I get it to you. All right, moving on. Now, oh yeah, we can start getting into the good stuff here. Let's go back to your website. Hopefully this seems pretty basic, but I'm going to mention it because it is very important. On your website, you need to make sure that you have your company name somewhere. Hopefully it's very easy to discern what your company name is before people even get to your website. You're also going to want to make sure that you have your phone number. Usually in the header somewhere is good. You can also place it in the footer. And you're also going to want your address, your place of business. A lot of times a good place to put that is down in the footer. But you definitely want your place of business, your location, as well as your phone number. It's very important. Now, links. We're going to talk about links. We're going to talk about a few different kinds of links. There's quite a few different kinds of links, but we're going to talk about just two tonight. We're going to talk about inbound links, also known as backlinks, and we're also going to talk about internal links. Let's talk about internal links first. So internal links are pretty simple. It's basically, if I were on this page of my website and I have some place where it says, say, Bounce House Rental, this would be a good place to create an internal link, which just links to a different page within my website. Internal links are really important. They do two things. They help the Google crawlers to understand the structure of your website better, and they also help your visitors navigate around with a little more ease. So you want to add quite a few different internal links linking from page to page. You don't need to go overboard. You don't need to have everything be a link to somewhere else. I mean, you need to do it within reason, but usually more links are better. So make sure that you're adding internal links that go from page to page to ease up on navigation for people, to make it very easy for people to go where they want to go without having to search up and down on your page. And the way you would do that if you don't know how to create a link, let me see, I'll just do it right here. Here again, I'm just going to click Edit with Elementor. I'm going to go on down here, find what I want to link. Bounce House Rental, that's a good one. I'm going to link that somewhere else, maybe to my Bounce House Rental page. So I come over here. I've selected the box. You can do it, like I said, either by selecting the box itself or just this pin. I'm going to find, my camera's right in the way. Where is it? I'm going to find Bounce House Rental. And I'm going to link it. So I just go ahead and select it. I go up here to this little link. Make sure you know where you're going to link it to. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll just open up my website in another tab. I'll go ahead and navigate to the page I want to go to and grab that URL. In fact, I'll do it right now real quick. All right, so I'm over here. Where am I going to link it to? How about my Bounce House category page? So I've got my Bounce Houses here. I'm going to go up here. Control C to copy. I'm going to come back over here, right in here, and I'm going to paste it in. I'm going to make sure that I hit this little blue button to apply it. And then I also want to make sure that I save it by coming down here to update. And I've just created an internal link. Hopefully it's not the only one I'll have on my website. Like I said, you want to have a few, but that's the way you do it. Now, when we get into links, inevitably, people want to know about backlinks. I'm sure you've heard the term before. Let's get into what it is. So an inbound link an inbound link is simply a link from a different website pointing to yours. Now, Google is judging your website based on your perceived authority in the marketplace, in your industry. And when you have another website that has a high perceived authority and they're linking to your website, that boosts up your perceived authority. And the more links that you have coming to your website, the higher that perceived authority goes. So inbound links are very good. There's a number of ways that you can get them. You can ask a friend that has a website, hey, could you link to my website? That's one way. Another way we're going to talk about is coming right over here. Let me get back over here to I/O. I'm going to come over here. The way I would get to this and find out what inbound links I even have is by coming over here to settings. I'm going to go down here to WordPress. Do I want to save this? I don't think I want to save it. And you'll select the website that we're working on. And right here you'll see SEO Setup. You don't necessarily need to fill out your site title and description right here. But we already covered where that's done over in WordPress. But right down here, you're going to see keywords and cities. We're going to get into that in just a second. But right down here, you're going to see Join Link Share Network. You'll click on this, and the Link Share Network is basically a way for other rental company owners to share, it's just as the name suggests, for them to be able to share their links. So generally, by clicking this, you'll get 2 to 3 other rental businesses that will link to your website, and then your website will be linked to theirs. And it's an automatic process. You don't have to do anything other than just check the button, but really there's no reason why you wouldn't do that. Now, let's talk about this area right here, your keywords. This is really important. So we talked about having main keywords. Hopefully you've got about 5 main keywords. More is better. But right here, you're going to want to make sure that you enter those. Enter your main keywords. I've already placed one here, Bounce House Rental. I'm going to go ahead and check it as main. And the reason why is because if you check main, this is going to be used, this Bounce House Rental, with the city is going to be used to create your city landing pages. City landing pages, basically they're keyword-rich content pages that are used for boosting your search results, especially in some of your other areas of business. So it's important here that you list out a few cities. Regular IO clients will get 10 keywords. You can fill out 10 different keywords and 5 cities. That'll give you 50 total city landing pages. It's a lot. You don't have to write them. And generally people won't read them. It's more for SEO purposes. Now, let's say you fill out a keyword and you don't click main. That's all right too. You can do that. The main ones, like I said, they're used for generating city landing pages and also monitoring your SERP results, your search engine result page results. If you don't check this though, really they're still going to be used, but they'll be used more for blog posts. So not necessarily something that you will see or even something that maybe people will read, but it's also helpful for your overall ranking with Google. So keywords, cities, they're very important. Make sure you list this out, each of your keywords and your cities. Make sure when you do this that you also add them. Let's see, let's do slide rental. I'll go ahead and add it. Let's say, what's a city? How about Houston, Texas? Add that, and then I'll make sure I come down here and I save it, and then that'll start generating your city landing pages. Now, it's important to note here that, like I said, regular IO clients will get 10 keywords and 5 cities. If you are on one of our SEO plans, you get 50 keywords and 20 cities. So you get a great way to expand your reach there by adding additional keywords and additional cities. We already went over the link share network. Make sure that you check that. And then let's, let's go ahead and get into, I haven't really referenced this ebook. I think what I'm going to do here is, I might reference this a little more towards the end. I want to make sure that I get through the entirety of all the content that I have. But I could not say enough good things about this ebook. In fact, everything I cover tonight is covered in this ebook and more. It goes into quite a bit of depth. And I think if you're even doing a fraction of the techniques that are described in this ebook, you're going to already see improvement in your Google search rankings. Now, the final way, in fact, actually I was over here, the final way for generating inbound links is going to be over here on page 30, I believe. And that is something that's free, it's easy, there's really no reason all of you shouldn't be doing that, and that's by joining directories. So you can go to these directories, you can see a reference to them here. I would say go to all of them. Also check out your local Chamber of Commerce. They usually have directories that you can sign up for as well. These are all links to, these are websites that have a high perceived authority. And by them linking to yours, it's going to increase your site's perceived authority. So this is just an easy way, I feel like, to get free inbound links to your website. definitely do this. I would say this is critical. Now, we've talked about the basics. I'm going to start getting into a little more advanced information, or I'd say intermediate information. And we're still working on free tools. So, when we talk about content generation, see, let's look at it like this. You've worked on your house. Let's say your house is your website. You've built a good foundation. You've put in the keywords where they need to go. You have a good title. You've ensured that you link throughout your website. People are able to get around easily. You've got pictures for your categories, descriptions for your products. Make sure all of that is filled out. And you've done this. The house looks great. It's got a good foundation. And I wish that were enough. It's not. It's good and it's essential, but you'll still have to do more. And that really comes down to content generation. I'm sure you've heard the phrase before. You're probably familiar with it. Content generation is simply, as the name suggests, generating new content. Generating content that shows that you're there and you're producing new things, that you're active in the community. Now, when you're creating new content, it's important that one, it needs to be relevant to your business. You want to make sure it's informative. You want it to be helpful and authentic. There are a few different ways that you can do this. One of probably the most important or the most popular would be through social media. Social media is an easy way to generate new content, but it's not the only way. A second way that we see often is through blog posts. Maybe you're creating blog posts on your own, maybe you're not. If you're one of our SEO clients, blog posts are created on a weekly basis for you automatically. And a third way that you can create content, and this, if you're not doing this, start today, start tomorrow, start sometime soon, because this, again, is free. It has a long reach, and it does nothing but improve your standing with Google. And that's through GMB posts. So we talked about your Google business posts. I'm going to go back to GMB here. When you're looking at your Google business profile, somewhere down on the right side, you're going to see that where I have this big circle here, your GMB updates. And it's almost like a blog on Google. And these updates can be a number of things. It can be a special that you're running, maybe a coupon that you have. Maybe there's a certain item, a certain product that you want to highlight for the week and give details on it and link to your website. You can also talk about events maybe that you're hosting. And you can do this as many times as you like. I would advise doing it on an ongoing basis. Like I said, it's free. When you do this, you want to make sure there's a good picture with it, that it reads well. It doesn't have to be long, but you do want to include keywords. So this is an excellent place to put keywords in. Like I said, it's free. Do it on an ongoing basis, and then you're generating content, new content that's already on Google, and it will help your standing immensely. Now, again, if you're one of our SEO clients, this is done automatically on a weekly basis for you. All right, let's get back to business here. We've gone through, you know what? I want to talk about this for a second. So I've talked about, we have SEO programs already that you can take part in. In fact, let's go back here. So we have services that are great because, let's face it, I mean, you're a business owner. You don't have all the time in the world to be writing out content on an ongoing basis. Or maybe you do, but if you do, you're maybe not that busy. So there, you can get help. Now, all of our regular clients, all of you, already have a lot of what we talked about baked into your website, just because that's how IO generates websites. It's very SEO friendly, and it was designed with that in mind. So you already have optimized images. It's mobile responsive, keywords, city landing pages to increase your standing with Google, and you already have that with your website. We do have other options though. We have the SEO Power Up, which it lasts for 6 months. It gives you weekly content generation through blog posts, through GMB posts. You get a monthly monitoring, monthly reports that are sent to you. And as one of the people that does the SEO for some of our clients, I can tell you, we keep a really good eye on the websites that we're monitoring for SEO. So I would say this is in everyone's best interest if you don't have enough time to generate your own content on an ongoing basis. It's not the only option. We also have just the SEO Content Engine, which is really what we talked about. It's automatic content generation through blog posts, through GMB posts. You still get monthly reports, and we still monitor your keywords on an ongoing basis to see how they're tracking. And of course, we get that information out to you, like I said, on a monthly basis. So I won't go any more into that. I just wanted to do a little quick promo because, like I said, I do some of the SEO for our SEO clients, and we see good results for them. I'll leave it at that. All right, so we've talked about a lot, but we haven't talked about everything, because if you've done any of this, if you've done some of these things, even if you've done one, you really need a way to track. How's it going? Are you successful? Do these keywords work? Are you really ranking well for them? So we need to go over some tools. How are you going to monitor this? There are a couple different ways. Google Analytics. If you don't have a Google Analytics account, sign up for one, I would say, immediately. I can give some, I believe I can copy and paste here and give you guys, there we go. This is my first time streaming anything at any time. So hopefully it's going all right. All right, I just put that in there. I've got some other things to share with you. So Google Analytics is very important. Sign up for that. Google Analytics data can be ported over to I/O. In fact, you just set that up. Once you set up your Google Analytics account, you'll come over and put the code into I/O, and you'll get to see that data port over to your charts so you can track it without having to leave Inflatable Office at all. Google Search Console. This is another free tool. It's a must-have, because this gives you the ability to track individual keywords, see how they're performing against others. It gives you really good in-depth data on your keyword ranking. It's a free tool, no reason not to use it. A third tool that we use, I use it on an ongoing basis, is AccuRanker. AccuRanker is another tool for monitoring your keywords. How will they perform? How will they perform against your competition? AccuRanker, I cannot say enough good things about it. I do believe they have a free version. They have a paid version as well, but it's a good tool. There are other tools that do similar things, but AccuRanker, we use it quite a bit. When you get these tools, it's important that you track it in I/O. So let's come on over here. I'm in I/O. You know what? I can just go to my dashboard, and hopefully you all know about this area of your internal your I/O dashboard. If not, let's look at it right now. So you have already quite a few different charts that tell you. They give you some good details about keywords. In fact, we're just looking at the SEO portion, but you have sales, you have stats. Let's look at SEO though, just to see. So here you can track keywords. You can also track your overall rank. You can do it by month, by 12 months. You can change how these charts view. In fact, God, my keywords are not doing very well. I need to take some of this information and apply it. And you can also see your share of voice. Your share of voice is kind of a measure of almost your portion of the pie. For overall, your industry is the pie, and how much of that pie you have. Your share of voice is kind of almost like a measure of your authority in the industry. It's a good metric to track. So, like I said, sign up for Google Analytics. A lot of that data will come over here, and you'll just be able to see it in I/O without having to go back and forth. Now, one other thing that I want to cover, we haven't talked about it, but site speed. It's important that your site speed, both on desktop and on mobile, is fast. I mean, this is probably nothing new for you, but it's important to understand what your site speed is. It's important to know how to gauge that and to know what to do to rectify any problems that are slowing down your website. Now, 3 different resources that we like to use. I'm going to go ahead and post them in right over here. GT Metrics, that's a really good site for analyzing site speed. Page Speed Insights, that's another one. That's an excellent tool. And a third one is SEO Checker. That's good. It's more geared around search engine optimization and how your site compares to benchmarks. But that's also a really good tool. It's a free tool. No reason you shouldn't be using it on an ongoing basis. Now, I believe I'm going through here and I feel like we've covered a lot of information. I went through it pretty quickly. Hopefully this made sense to you all. I'd like to open up to questions. See, you know what, I'm going to throw 3 more tools in here on keywords because we didn't really go into keyword selection. I feel like you all in this industry already have some good keywords picked out. But you know, if you don't have some secondary good keywords picked out, here's some tools that will help with that. Google Keyword Planner, SEMrush, they have a keyword magic tool that's pretty good, and Word Tracker. Word Tracker is excellent. But you know, hey, let's open it up for some questions. I think I've covered what I wanted to cover. Let's hear from you guys. What all would you like to know? Anybody? Nothing. Certainly you'll have some questions. I know you all do. Let me just go through here and see if I missed anything. Question about downloading the ebook. Yeah, and that ebook is, of course, we already responded to that. That's emailed to you. I've got a little help here helping me answer questions, and I really appreciate it. Maybe all the questions have been answered while I've been talking this whole time. But I'm just going to go through here. How do we access the ebook? Yes. That's you sign up. You will need to use your email address, and then we'll email that out to you almost immediately. It's a good ebook though. You're gonna love it. It's a page turner. What else do we have here? All right, let's see. What do we have? Tom's asking about auctions and bidding. Auctions. Bidding advice. We're not talking about Google AdWords, I'm guessing. We're talking about actual auctions. That's a good question, Tom. I can look into that and get back to you. And I know we were talking a little bit. Jill says, Jill's provided a good link. And if, let me see what we've got here. Yeah, good. Yep, there's a link for the ebook. Tom, I'm going to Google yes, Facebook ads. Facebook ads, Tom, I'd be happy to email you some information about that. I'm not going to go into that right now. There's 2 reasons why. One is this is actually my 2nd week on Facebook, which is kind of weird. I know everybody else has been here the whole time. But I can get you some information on that, and I think I was needing to reach out to you tomorrow anyway, so I'll get that to you. Let me write it down, actually. What other questions do we have? And I promise, Tom, I'll get you some information on that. What causes SEO rank to decline? There's a good question. A number of things. Your site speed. If you've added quite a bit of content and it slows down your site, I mean, there's a wealth of criteria that can occur that can lower your standing. If you're not putting out any kind of new content, that's something that can lower it. All right, very good. Let's see what else. Not using very good keywords. Having a site that isn't put together well. Having a site that's incomplete. Having pages that are just not completely fleshed out and having pictures and descriptions. Having bad navigation on your website. That's something else. What other questions do we have? This is so strange. I'm answering questions on Facebook for all of you. Hopefully, I'm answering some questions. Stacy had asked a question about, Stacy asked, if we build the site with one of the upper level website packages, on the line it says it includes the SEO Power Up package as well. Will you also cover or double check all of these things when building it? I believe I understand your question. Let me reframe it and see if I've got it right. I feel like what you're asking is, when we build a website for a client with one of our web packages, do we take this into consideration? Do we build in a lot of these SEO techniques that we've talked about? Yes, not all of them, most of them, yeah. And when I say not all of them, I mean we're not going to put together your blog. We're not going to touch your Google My Business account. But yeah, we definitely build sites that are SEO friendly. There's always more that can be done. And that's why we have our SEO packages, because we can all do a really good job building your website, making sure it has a good foundation. But at the end of the day, that's not all. You have to continue from there. And the SEO packages are a way to just kind of elevate what you have so far to a different level with ongoing monitoring, ongoing content generation, and yeah. So yeah, we do build them with that in mind, but it's not enough, because you can't just build a website and then you're done. I wish it were that easy, but it just takes ongoing maintenance, kind of like a relationship, Hopefully I answered your question, Stacy. What else have we got? Okay, David asked about, he's the only one in his area with I/O. Well, we got to change that. I came from another software. How hard would it be for me to rank up with these free tools? It depends on how much time you have, David. And I don't mean to say that and sound glib. What I mean by that is, if you have the time to generate your own content on an ongoing basis and the ability to monitor it on a consistent basis, you don't necessarily need to hire somebody to do your SEO for you. These are all things that all of you can do on your own. But it is labor intensive. And as a business owner, I don't know if you all have the time to do this. I mean, some of you do, some of you don't. I'm sure it's different for all of you. But if you have time to generate content for your business on an ongoing basis, either you've got superb time management skills or you're not busy enough in your business. But to answer your question, yeah, you can do all of this yourself. I find it's better to hire somebody. That's my personal opinion. And as one of the people that does this for our clients, I have a real in-depth experience of what we're doing for everybody when we monitor and we generate content and we tweak their website on a weekly basis to make sure it stays as high as we can get it in the rankings. Yeah. Okay, good. Rick, that's an interesting question. I have 3 websites. Can I bring them all together in my IO site and do the SEO together? You can bring your websites over to IO, yes. And I'm not sure I understand the question. Are you asking, can your SEO work apply to all 3 websites at the same time? I don't know. That might not be what you're asking. You wouldn't necessarily be able to take 3 websites, bring them over to IO, buy one SEO package, and apply it to all 3. That's not necessarily how it works. That's generally going to take 3 different SEO packages, but it's a good way to go. And the SEO content engine, that's more of just an ongoing kind of a maintenance level of SEO effort. It's really good. It continues to get that content out there, and we continue to monitor. It's not necessarily, it doesn't have the punch that the SEO Power Up will. SEO Power Up is kind of like jumping onto the stage and going, we're open for business. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, what do they have to say? Let's pay attention to that. So there's a real, I don't know what other word to use except for just a punch. Because it lasts for 6 months, there's a lot of effort that goes into it. But then after 6 months, we've done about all we can at that level. And that's why it's good at that point to do the SEO content engine just for ongoing maintenance. I don't know if hopefully that answered your question all right, Rick. Let's see, what else have we got? I really appreciate everyone helping out and answering these questions. Thank you. And that as I see this, I think this is a perfect representation of just the IO community. You all you help one another so well, and that's off topic. That's not necessarily what we're talking about here tonight, but it reminds me to be thankful. I'm really thankful for all of you because you really do a good job helping out one another with questions. It's a great community to be a part of, and I'm thankful for it. What other questions do we have? How can you check and improve your site speed? I would use those tools that I referenced before, GT Metrics, Page Speed Insights, and SEO Checker. Of those 3, I would say the first one, GT Metrics, is really good. These tools, and all you have to do is go to the site, plug in your URL, and you're going to get a pretty lengthy description of what's working well on your website and what isn't. And then it basically tells you, fix this to do better in this area. They're very informative. They're free. There isn't really any reason I wouldn't use them. There's a link for it. Very good. SEO is important, Tom says, but isn't it better to bid well and buy ads? Yeah, if you have the budget for it, that can be very effective. It really can. And that's not really necessarily the scope of this webinar, because really we're talking about free tools. But yeah, Tom, definitely. It can be a very, very effective way for driving more business to your website. It can be very expensive. It's probably anyone that's tried it knows. But I would say it's important to have that be a part of your marketing. What other questions? Do both. That's right. Yes, do both. Any other questions? While we're waiting to see if anybody else has any questions, we do have some other webinars coming up. I believe Joel is going to be giving one of our company owners. Tim is going to be back and giving another one. And I'll be giving another one in March. They're free. You're invited to come. I think these are only going to get better as we go. So I'm excited to have each and every one of you back. And I'm going to know if you didn't show up. What other questions do we have? David, I only have like 5 cities. Is there an extra fee to add more? Well, there's, like we talked about, if you're one of our SEO clients, just by even being on the content engine, you're going to have additional keywords, additional cities that you can use. I love it. You guys are answering these questions for me. My work is done, I suppose. Yeah, so one of the questions asking for clarification about cities and keywords. As you add cities and keywords in the area that we talked about, does that create landing pages? Yes, it does. As soon as you add them and save it, city landing page is generated. You'll see those city landing pages referenced generally towards the bottom of your category and your product pages. And there's a link, you can click on it, see what they look like. They're keyword rich, and like I said, they're generally not read, but they are read by the Google crawlers, and they really help boost your rankings for your smaller areas in and around your main place of business. All right, Tom, thanks for stopping by. And Kevin, you had a question about adding more cities without being an SEO client. You know what? We can talk offline if you like. I can get in touch with you tomorrow if you want to reach out to me. We can talk more about what you're looking to do and see what options there are. Any other questions? Does Google pick up our company name within our logo placed in the header section of our homepage? I don't believe that it does. Joel can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like your logo. I don't think the Google crawlers necessarily read words that are in an image, which is usually what a logo is. That's why it's important to make sure that you have that title set up correctly, because it's one of the first things that they read, and one of the first things that visitors that are looking for your website read, because that's what's shown on Google is that site title. All right, everybody. Any other questions? Looks like we're kind of bringing this now towards the end. I want to just thank everybody for spending some time here with us. You had other things you could have done, but instead you chose to build your mind to build your business and learn something more that you can apply to making your business better. And I respect that. Your time is valuable. Hopefully you really got something out of this. And hopefully we're able to help you have a much better 2023 in business than you did in 2022. We have more questions. Yeah, Kevin, looks like we're going to talk tomorrow anyway, so I'll just take some time and I'll answer all of your questions. We can talk about it then. In fact, my schedule is pretty open tomorrow, so that'll be a good time for doing so. Hopefully that'll work for you. Great, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, this will be on YouTube. I'm still recording. We'll get it uploaded by tomorrow, so you'll be able to reference it again. Thank you. My pleasure. All right, everyone. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. It was an honor and a pleasure to be here. Hopefully, we'll get to do it again with our next webinar. And that's it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up and say goodnight. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Shane, Inflatable Office. Hopefully, I'll get to meet every single one of you at some point, but it won't be tonight. So you all, thank you for your time. Rest well. And hopefully we'll see you back for the next one. All right, thanks a lot.